Hello, Flickering Myth family, and all you Longlegs out there. I don't know what to call this fandom, but we are growing. Us Longlegs people, we're strong. Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. My name is EJ, and let's get into a spoiler discussion for the latest horror film, Longlegs. I've been so excited to dive into this video for quite some time. I have my review, you guys can check it out up here, but let's get into the nitty-gritty details of why I think this is such a scary movie and what is the drama with Longlegs, what's Nicolas Cage doing, what's Maika Monroe doing. There's so much to talk about. Let's get into the juicy details right now. So I really don't need to break down my feelings on Longlegs. I'll do a quick little recap real quick just in case you've missed my full non-spoiler review, but I absolutely love this movie. My favorite movie of the year, a 5-star from me. I could just endlessly praise it. I love the atmosphere. I love the characters that we meet. While I don't think this is the most fleshed out universe I've ever seen, I didn't need it. I understood in this story, in this moment. I'm not one of those people who need a backstory of, well, how did he make... I don't need that. I don't care about what is the demon in the dolls. I don't really care about, like, why does Longlegs want to do this? That's not really why I'm here to watch this kind of movie. I'm here to live in this moment, in this case, with this journey. And wow, like, it is insane. Maika Monroe's investigation, the Lee Harker just journey she takes through this film, it starts back at her childhood when she ran into Longlegs, then to what she's doing with that confrontation, the now iconic confrontation, the interrogation scene between the two. My goodness, you get so much for this. But this movie has a lot more than that. Once Longlegs is done with his work in this movie, we are still left with the final act, and we are left with the final act of what's going to happen with everything coming to Lee's, like, right in front of her. Everything she loves, everyone she knows, it's involved in this insane ending. And I thought that was really strong, really worked for me. I think overall Longlegs is a great horror film, one of our best of the year, one of my best I've seen in quite some time. But what I want to talk about real quick in this section is scariest movie of the decade that I have labeled it as. Here's my thing. If you don't find this movie scary, that does not mean it is not scary and that other people are wrong in their opinion. If you don't find it personally scary, again, I understand it. You're probably like a 35-year-old man with credit card debt, student loan payments, a girlfriend who hates you. That's scary enough. I get it. I understand if something like this doesn't scare you, but to discredit other people's fear of this movie, or, oh, I thought this was really creepy because I thought this was scary as hell. Demon shit, serial killers, familial drama, mental illness, all of that stuff really speaks to me and really does sit with me and scare me. That's why I found it so scary. If you are more scared by zombies, if you're more scared by paranormal hauntings, exorcisms, maybe an actual straight up like slasher like a Jason Freddy, that's okay. We all are scared by different things, but do not come into my comments or go to any other critic who found this movie scary and you're doing the, I wasn't scared by it. Okay. Yay. I'm so proud of you for not being scared of a movie. You're such a grown-up. Bitch, shut up. Like, you know what I mean? That's my thing. Again, if you're not scared for it, that is fine, but do not come and yuck other people's yums kind of mentality. I cannot believe I just said that. Don't do that. I found the movie scary. I think it is insanely scary, and we're going to get into those details on why. We're not going to get into... I saw this movie also like a month and a half ago. I've seen Longlegs very early, so my details are going to be from what I remember through my notes and just sinking it in. But this movie throws a lot at you, a lot of hard-hitting stuff. The movie opens with an insane kill, so truly you're like, oh wow, let's get into it. So I'm going to dive into the spoiler, kind of get through the plot, the bare bones of what you need to know. Spoiler-wise, maybe I can answer some questions. I know the ending has left some people on Reddit ambiguous to what happens. I don't believe some of the theories that they have. We're going to get into that right now. The film opens up with what I think is one of the most chilling scenes. Lee meets Longlegs for the first time. There's a confrontation, and she somehow makes it out of this alive. I was amazed, but it feels like Longlegs saw the end goal for her. He knew what he could do, and we start seeing that he had put things in order to get Lee to where she needs to be and to have her mother eventually be such a conduit for his violence and what he wants to let go happen. So we meet Longlegs, we meet Lee as a very young child, but then we're thrust into her adulthood. She is an FBI agent with a particular skill. This vague psychic ability she has is strange. I think that's probably my least favorite part of the movie because it doesn't really feel fleshed out, but she seems to have a really good sense. She like looks around this neighborhood, sees this house and says, we need to go into there. That's where this person is. Well, that leads her partner to getting shot shot. It leads the other person to offing themselves, and now she is stuck, well, investigating things well, but also having all of this trauma already dumped on her, on top of the childhood trauma she has. So yeah, the FBI is just like, she's good. Yeah, she may have gotten some people killed just now, but she's good. What can we do to tap into her skill? There is a case that we've been trying to solve for a very long time about these murders. Can we bring Lee on? Well, maybe Lee was not the right person to bring on because she has a closer attachment to this case than we could have ever thought. So she begins her investigation. She's trying to figure out about Longlegs. This is a serial killer that has done killings, but he's never been in the room for the killings. How is that possible? What in the Charles Manson is going on there? Like, is he the killer if it goes other people? Yes, he's the killer, because even if you get other people to kill for you, I still count you as a killer. And that's what's happening here. It seems like there's these... Longlegs is sending these dolls to families that are possessed, and they kind of... There's a weird ball in them. Again, I can't really give you nitty-gritty details on the mechanics of the witchery, of the Satanist of this stuff. The movie doesn't explain it. I'm not like an expert on this, so I'm just giving you my review of it. So yeah, there's these dolls that he sends to families around the daughter's 9th birthday, who is born on a certain day. He has this kind of very methodical thing. That's very serial killer, very Zodiac killer. I don't want to say I like serial killers like this, but I like stories like this. I find serial killers to be the most interesting when they're all methodical, when they have, it doesn't even need to make sense to us, it makes sense to them. And that's what he's doing. He's sending these dolls to people on the 9th birthday of a young girl, and it's possessing the father to kill them. We see, murders throughout time, and how this has kind of led to where we are now with what will be the last case of all of this, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But yeah, that's kind of the investigation. That's what Lee's trying to figure out. She's trying to get more details, but she's figuring out she knows about this case. She knows Longlegs. How much so? Well, he's been sending her birthday cards. He showed up at her house when she was a child. He's always been wanting her. Do I know why? No, I don't really know why specifically, but it seems like he wants to use her mother. It seems like that is what he's aiming for, because we see Lee's mother, played by Alicia Witt, in, I think, one of the most compelling roles of the year. She is great in this. She's a very religious, overly medicated person, and what happens when medications stop working and the Satan starts slipping into your brain? Well, this is what happens. You start murdering people and becoming kind of the helper to Longlegs. It's insane. How deeply rooted he got into her mother and what she's done throughout this. It's sad. It's hard-hitting. So yeah, Lee's investigating. She, again, there's a moment where it triggers and she knows, I know this case. She brings it to Blair Underwood's character, an FBI agent who is, a father with a family and a daughter about to celebrate a birthday. As soon as he started talking about his family, I was like, oh no. It seems like Longlegs has his next case. Little nice nun lady, who is, Lee's mother, brings the doll over to Blair Underwood's house, and it possesses him, and he does exactly what we see. Throughout all of this, though, we do stop and meet one important character I have not mentioned yet, Kiernan Shipka's character. She is a girl who survived a Longlegs brutalizing, and she is wackadoo, banana cuckoo pants crazy, ends up throwing herself off the roof. Kiernan Shipka is in a tiny, almost thankless role, but she does a lot with her small time on screen. I think Kiernan is great in this role. But yeah, so we get her and Lee's investigation on Lee's journey of kind of getting this unleashed from her mind. I think that's one of the most interesting things, is how we bury stuff and how Lee does not remember any of this. But as she gets along, she's getting triggered. She's finding these moments that really remind her of what happened to her, of why this is so important. Then she attaches it to her mother. There's that point where she shoots the doll and she passes out, and then there's a lot here. I think that's one of the most craziest things. So before we get into the Blair Underwood having to murder his family because Longlegs and, Mama Longlegs basically tells him to do so, we do have the now infamous interrogation scene between the two. So, they catch Longlegs, which is insane because he's kind of been at this weird gas station. He's weird. Longlegs is a weird ass character, but they end up catching him. They get him into an interrogation. Maika and Monroe's Lee starts talking to him. This moment is great. I mean, you could just tell the intensity between these two. From what I've heard, Nicolas Cage delivered a great performance on set, did not go full method, and wasn't a mean guy. He was great, and he brought a lot out of this character and a lot out of this scene, especially when he ends up killing himself in custody. And you're like, oh, Longlegs is dead. But again, Longlegs has never done the killings. So even though he's dead, you know things are not over yet, and Lee knows that as well. So this leads her to finding out that Blair has the doll at her house, her mother has delivered it, and he's going to kill the family. And she has to do everything she can to stop it. If you've seen the trailers, that is the young girl who's like, is it hard being a female FBI agent? That's the young girl that she's going to end up having to save by the end of this movie from the Longlegs curse. Now, there is one last thing I want to talk about in the next section. We're going to break this off because I've been talking longer than I want in a spoiler review. Sorry about this. But we have one more thing, and it's the ending that has left some people confused. So it's been some time since I've seen this movie. So I went on Reddit to just kind of get some details from people who have seen it. I'm like, oh yeah, that's this part. Oh yeah, that's the Kiernan. Honestly, I almost forgot about Kiernan Shipka a little bit. Sorry about that. But yeah, so the ending is kind of leaving some people on Reddit confused. A lot of people are saying that Maika gets possessed by Longlegs or whatever's happening, and she's going to be carrying along this legacy. I don't get that from this ending. She ends up stopping the child murder. Everything happens to the house. Her mother ends up getting killed. It's an insane ending. But she ends up taking the daughter. A lot of people were kind of left like, ooh, things are gonna be, she's the new killer. I think what the ending tells me is that evil is still gonna be there. She has maybe ended this murder, these cases, this version of Longlegs, but Satan is in everywhere. Like, this man, this could be done. Longlegs can't be the only person doing this. I could see more of these where Lee's going through, not Longlegs, maybe like, Chucky the killer over there, something, where she's like going through different cases, trying to figure out these very Satan-inspired ones. Though, again, she's very attached to this one, so it won't have that much connection. But that's what I got from the ending of this, is evil's not done. It may not be in Lee's, body or anything like that, but it's still there. It's still looming. She has to one, also trauma. This is something that has stuck with her now, with the young girl as well. All of this is going to be burned in them. How can you do it? That trauma stays with you. And that's kind of what I got from the ending. What did you guys take from the ending of Longlegs? Do you think, the evil spirits possessed her, that little demon that we see in the dolls, that, once you lift up the doll, it's an actual doll? But I loved that little use of the demon face there, because it's like, ooh, is it there? Is it real? It reminds me a lot of like Hereditary, where like your eyes need to adjust, and once your eyes adjust, you realize that there's a face there. It's genius. It's great. Oh my goodness. I love so many of the little details, so many of the filmmaking choices. Perkins did great. Do I think this is the most fleshed out script I've ever seen? No. And if that's what you want, if you need every detail to make it work in your head, this might not be the movie for you. This movie definitely lets you, as the audience member, put pieces together, play along with the killers, and have your own interpretations. I'm not saying that people who think, Lee's possessed at the end are completely wrong, but at the same time, I just don't know if that's how I took the ending. But I love a movie that lets me feel, and lets you feel, and lets two other people who have also seen the movie feel different things. That's what makes this, to me, such an important and such a great film this year. This movie has it all: an evil serial killer, possessed dolls, FBI agents who are maybe a bit touched by evil as well. Wow, I just had a great time discussing this movie, getting into my spoiler feelings. Again, if you want to see a non-spoiler review where I give you more of a proper critic analysis, you guys can check it out up here. I've done interviews with the editors of Longlegs. How do you craft a film like this in the editing standpoint? I've also interviewed director Perkins, Maika, Monroe, Blair, Underwood, and Alicia, Witt. You guys can check that out on my channel. My goodness, thank you guys so much for joining us. Longlegs has been so good to this channel, the Longlegs community, the Longlegs, and the horror fandom as well. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you guys for subscribing, for tuning in. Stay tuned. We have a lot more stuff coming this year. This is going to be a great year for Flickering Myth on YouTube. So make sure you guys subscribe, tune in, and let me know your feelings on Longlegs and the spoiler discussion right down below.